Chop, chop. All right, this one says consider the arithmetic series. Now they say series, meaning there are no semicolons or commas in between. There are negatives or positives in between. There we go. That one, minus 260 is the last term. They say calculate the sum of the series. Now I need to know how many terms they are, because if I use one of these formula, I need to know the n, all right? So we're gonna have to use the last term formula, and the last term formula goes more like this. We are going to write t sub n equals to a, and then plus, open the parenthesis, n minus 1, close the parenthesis, times the d. Last term we've got minus 260. So I've got negative 260 equals to the a, we can see is the first term, which is actually 4. And then plus into n minus 1, I need to multiply that by the d. Well, it's going to be negative 2 minus the 4, which is negative 6. Are we together? Is it negative 6? We agree? Negative 2, take away 4. Negative,
Yes,
yeah, so there it is. Negative 2 minus the 4 meant. So it's negative 6. Yeah, then from there we can do the working out. So this minus 4 goes over to the other side. So we're going to have negative 264 equals to, open the parentheses, and minus 1 into negative 6. Then I'm going to divide this one by the 6, both sides. So I've got negative 264. I'm going to divide that by a negative 6. I've got that number. Of course, I'm going to transpose the 1 to make it a 45, meaning plus 1, which is 45. So I'm writing it one time. So n equals to 45, meaning there are 45 terms. All right. So I'm just going to make some note and say n here equals to 45, just for me to remember. Then the next thing here, they say determine the value of m. If you've got this term, you keep on adding, 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 adding. You see, they put equal sign, meaning they're giving you Sn. So this one now, it becomes S subscript n. They want you to find n. So it's similar in this sense. It's in this format. All right, it's in that sense. So let's give it to them nonetheless. All right. So I'm going to have to use which formula? I'm going to use this formula here. We know it off by heart. So I'm going to jot down negative 1,700 equals to n. N divided by the 2. Open the brackets into 2 times the a. We can see the a is the 4. Close the parenthesis, then plus, open the parenthesis, n minus 1. Close the parenthesis, and then the d we figure out is negative 6. We close the bracket. Like I said, I want to get rid of that 2. All right. So you got 1700. I know it's a negative, but we're going to double that one. All right, so we've got a 34. It's going to be negative 34,000. And then equals to, I'm going to keep n, open the brackets. Now let's do the math. 2 by 4, it's 8. 6 by that one is going to be 6 because it's negative and negative. So this is 8 plus the 6, which is 14, isn't it? 6 plus the 8, 12. Yeah, 14. There we go. So that means I'm going to have 14. Negative 6 will times the n, so minus 6n, close the bracket. Then I'm going to multiply this n into, but all of that, this right-hand side, I'm moving it to the left, starting with the 6n squared. So we're going to have 6n squared, positive, then minus the 14n, then minus 3,400 or 3,400. All of that must be equals to 0. So I'm just gonna go ahead. I showed you how to cheat, to pretend as if you factorize. But here, let's go for the quadratic formula one time. Let's do quadratic and we get the values. All right, so we've got that division. And then first is B. B is a negative 14, so it's minus, minus, it comes out plus, and then plus, and then we've got this one under the brackets, under the radical sign, negative 14, and then we're going to square that, and then minus 4 times the A, which is the 6, and then times, open the bracket, negative 3,400, close the parenthesis, then I go down, 2 times 6, I know it's 12, there we go. First answer is 25, which is correct, that's the right one. We don't need n, so it's 25, because you cannot have ambiguous, you cannot have two, it has to be one of them. One of them, we're going to throw it away, we're going to discard it. All right, so there it is. Then I put a negative. Watch what does it become. You see, it's negative already. So, and then n, I'll say it's not allowed. That's 22,67. So the number of terms that we have is 25. So I'm gonna tell these guys, you see, that n is actually the m, to be specific. It's m, that one there. So which means what you would have done, you would have done it a bit. You would have put m everywhere you see the n. You would have done it like that. But it's fine as I use the n because we are so acquainted to the n. And I use m, you're going to say, what? What happened? It is your m. So that's what it is there. All right. So that part is done. Let's see what else are they looking for. Now they say determine the greatest. You see, it's different from this one. This one says calculate the least. Aha. So we're gonna have inequality sign. No harm done. All right. So I'm gonna get rid of this one as well. Calculate the greatest value of k, which means it's like the n. It's in place of n, the number of terms which will be greater than negative 800. So S subscript n must be greater than negative 800. That's how it should be. So now, putting the formula that has, in other words, that formula, putting that formula there, I'm going to substitute into that one, using that one. First, we've got n. That's what we're looking for. N divided by 2. Open the bracket. 2 times the A. Our A, we can tell, is 4. Good. Then plus, open the parentheses, we've got n minus 1. Close the parentheses. And I believe we figure out that one to be 6, the first common difference. We want that to be greater than negative 800. Inequalities, when you multiply by negative or divide by negative both sides, you reverse the inequality sign. When you reciprocate both sides, you reverse the inequality sign. If you're dealing with the base which lies between 0 and 1, you also reverse the inequality sign. All right. So I'm going to times everything by 2. So I now have n in 2. All right. So I'm putting that bracket so it should be greater than, this must be 1600. There we go. All right, so this is gonna be 8 here. It's gonna be 8, and then of course we're gonna add that 6 there. So it's gonna be 14 again. All right, so we're gonna have 14. All right, if you don't believe that, so we can just say 8 plus the 6 one more time, 14. And then the 6 will times that n. It's a negative 6n. That's 16. That 6, I mean, is negative. So I'm going to move it to the right. Right, I'm going to move it to the right. So meaning on the on the left hand side, I've got 0 is less than. That n times that is minus 6n squared goes over. So it's positive 6n squared. And then the 14 is positive. Then it becomes negative 14n. And then I'm going to put the negative 1600. There we go. Or if you want to, you can just write it as 6n squared minus 14n minus 1600. And look, inequality, like I said, it's always like an arrow. This arrow is pointing towards the 6. It's not pointing the 0. All right, so the arrow must not point to the 0. So if we're to put the 0, I can't put it like this. It must point where it's pointing. It was pointing these terms. It must point to those terms. Then I'm ready to do factorization. Let's use quadratic formula. Now, can you see now here what it says here? This thing says less than. It says less than. Previously, this side we had greater than, and I said it will be greater. So your answer is supposed to be greater than the greatest number, which is 30.6. Smaller than the smallest number. All the time, you can bear. No need for the number line on the graph. Now, whenever it says less than, I already know that the n must lie between the two numbers. On the left, I'm going to put the small number. On the right, I'm going to put the bigger number. It's all of that. Whenever it says less than, provided this your n is positive there. So that's how it's going to look. I'm just telling you in advance. So let's shift it down there. All right, so now let's do our quadratic formula. There's a division, so we need minus b, which is negative 14, so it's going to be 14, plus we take the square root, open the parentheses, then we got negative 14, close the parentheses, we raise it 2, then minus 4 into a, which is 6, close the parentheses, into negative 1600 divided by 2 times 6, which is 12. Next time you'll find the one between them. So there's the first number. That number is positive. So let's write it down. I'm just going to note it down. We've got 17, 54. All right, then I'm going to back off a little bit also there. Going back right at the top there. All right, because I need to delete that and substitute a negative. There's a negative one. This is going to be negative 15,20. All right. I just trust everything is in place. I'll double check it now. So I'm going to write n lies between the two numbers. The smaller one is negative 15,20. The bigger one is 17,54. I'm going to break it down for you so that you understand. If you momentarily ignore this part, and then you focus on this one is telling you n must be less than 17,4. This number is already above 17. It's more than 17,4. A natural number less than 17,4. What are those numbers? Here's the first one. You're going to start by 17 because you want to go less than that now. So it's going to be 17. I'm writing backwards, then 16, then 15, You'll keep on going on, and you go up to 1. All right. Now, if we were to ignore the, we actually have our answer. Our answer is 17. I know that. So once, if we ignore this part and we read the other one, it says n is greater than 15, negative 15, 20. So a number greater than negative 15, 20. Well, it was going to be negative, because you are not moving to the left, you're moving to the right. So you need negative 14, you need negative 13, but you don't need this one because they are not natural numbers. You understand what I'm saying? You don't need that. Remember, negative 15 will also be one of them here. Okay, let me just include it here. But anyway, you don't need them. Your group of numbers where you choose the answer is here. They say the greatest. Which one is the greatest? 17. Hence, n equals to 17. So there's 17 10. I'm just double checking that I didn't make a mistake when I was working out this, because I thought maybe, but well, if there's any mistake, we'll check it. But this one looks good to me. All right, forgive me if there's any